What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down on what's really moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is down 1.83%, largely piggybacking off of the broader market. 214 the low, 221 the high. So today's a little bit more of a bloodbath. We did have some data that came out first thing. So the building permits and also starts both came in somewhat mixed. So the permits was a little bit on the low end, starts a little bit on the high end. And so essentially we're reaching kind of the starts pre kind of pandemic levels. So that's a little bit of optimism, I guess, associated to that. But ultimately, the market is still very fearful about Powell and what he's going to say for this upcoming Friday. So definitely a lot of importance is being placed on that. Aside from all that, though, I know I did try to live stream that whole shareholder meeting yesterday. Didn't really work out, but turns out Nick was able to kind of post this. So the reverse stock split, which was the only proposal on a side note, did pass. So there was a lot of individuals like myself that somehow it didn't work. I don't know why. I contacted my broker. I think they're still trying to dig deep into it. They initially said it was Lucid, but they're kind of changing their story, saying that it was proxyvote.com, supposedly. So regardless, I was unable to kind of join the shareholder meeting alongside many others, but no matter what, the reverse stock split did pass. And in case you do not know, during the last earnings, as far as a time frame, CFO did state that it was going to be in the early part of September. So the only thing that they actually have to do is give shareholders 2 business days notice. That is it. So most likely anticipate first week of September, a 8K, just acknowledging that there's going to be a 1-for-10 reverse stock split. I've already done enough videos on how that actually will impact individuals, so their averages and so forth. If you do have any questions, still let me know, but I'm pretty sure that's pretty straightforward. I think the real big question a lot of individuals want to know is, will this prompt a squeeze? And I would kind of tend to lean to the no side, but what do I know? Aside from that, though, the only thing that really came out worthwhile to bring up is the latest flyover shows a lot of gravities. And this is exactly what Mark did mention last earnings as well, that in Q3, you're going to see more actual gravity deliveries than airs. And there's that one white one, definitely does stand out. But yeah, good to see. I'm going to be posting I did a test drive of a Gravity. I loved it. And there were some obviously things that wasn't necessarily the best, but I'm going to give you my honest thoughts. I'm going to be doing a video. It is going to take a little bit longer only because I told the advisor, feel free to speak, do whatever you want. I'm going to be doing a voiceover anyways, because technically some things I am not able to show their face or them in general, and I can't have their voice in any videos. So of course, with me letting him kind of speak freely, I have to kind of go over it all. So that might take a little bit of time. So give me patience. I'll have it out by most likely Friday, in all honesty. But nonetheless, going back to this, good flyover overall. Aside from all that, shorts are increasing 4.99 million shares. As I've shared with you in the past, I think their plan is always to break Lucid on a technical level, and that's exactly what they are doing, because right now it is with it at 214, right below this S1. 215. So that's their plan. They want to break it right over there. So yeah, unfortunately, it's not necessarily the best. So 210 and then 202 will be the support levels. Then 223, 231 will be the next strong target / resistance points. So for today, just watch for it to close best case scenario above that 215. But going back over here, 32.45% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 407 million shares overall being shorted. So yeah, like I think right now the all-time high short interest is roughly around 33.5. So it looks as though that we will be retesting that at least in the next little bit. Moving over to options, 325,000 in calls, 66,000 in puts. So extremely low volume, and 51% of all the options being done today are bearish in nature. So of the options, people are still anticipating more downside, which is rather unfortunate. And even the net premium, I'll start bringing that up as well because that's kind of good to analyze. That's down 85,000 today. And just generally, you can kind of see that's been more of a on and off type of thing, but shows big money, not really looking and kind of paying attention to Lucid. From a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be above 250. I think until the reverse stock split does happen, that's probably going to be the case. And in all honesty, the only thing, because I'm a very big options trader, and with them doing a reverse stock split, that should open up the opportunity for a lot more money to be made through options. So I'll kind of be doing more kind of suggestions and what I'm doing going forward once that reverse stock split does actually go through. But aside from that though, the bears are anticipating for it to be sub $2. And most likely once the reverse stock split does actually happen, it'll take about 2 business days for the new change to be fully launched. So again, just so you guys have a time frame, if you guys do have actual options right now, contact your broker. Sometimes they do things a little bit different, but with the whole share count being changed, that is going to be the biggest thing that ultimately is adjusted in your case. So again, just contact your broker. Aside from that, these are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. So you saw a string of buying first thing, and most likely, in my opinion, that is because of, I guess, the flyover. There wasn't really any other data points to kind of signal a buy, but a string of buying that caused it to go that high, so that 221, but unfortunately that was rather short-lived. You had a lot of selling following that. These are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool, so rather low ultimately. With it right now at 213, like I said, it is below this S1, so just watch for it to close above that S1, so that 215. And there hasn't been any new articles really coming out about Lucid that's worthwhile to bring up, and even no new analyst ratings. So last one was done I think 5 days ago, or might have been a little bit longer, 13 days ago, and that was a $7 buy, Lattenberg. So yeah, it's $3.16 is that price target, representing a 48% upside. Aside from all of that though, on the actual chart, it's not looking good, and it hasn't looked good for a while. In all honesty, it's kind of funny on social media. You always see these people that just draw random lines just like from here up, and it's like, oh, Lucid's hitting the bottom. It's like, you're just making complete crap up, because this right now is borderline about to enter free fall. So there's nothing really positive about this. You can always refer back to this right here for generally some good support points, but still, don't just draw random lines. The only positive is the fact that it is arguably oversold, so a good piece of news could really push it higher, but market seems to be very fearful right now. And yeah, so let me know your thoughts on Lucid. What's your viewpoint on the flyover? What's your viewpoint, for instance, on shorts doubling and tripling down? So yeah, what's your kind of thoughts on all that? One thing I do want to share with you though, as I kind of mentioned in other videos, I'm going to be putting out a dedicated how to set up algorithmic trading. So Moomoo just launched algorithmic trading on their app, their platform. And so I'm going to be doing a video on how to set that up, because I know a lot of individuals, they don't have the time to trade, and you can kind of set the parameters that you generally look for, and I can help with that in my video. But if you want to sign up in advance, you can definitely do so. They have a pretty good promo right now as well, so you can just deposit $100 and they give you a $50 cash coupon. So pretty good return on investment just based on that alone. So definitely worthwhile to sign up in advance, because I think algorithmic trading is going to be the next big wave for brokers. So you might as well be one step ahead of the curve. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to sign up. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.